Hello, Shruti. Hello, Shruti. Are you there?
want to go out? You want to go to Vicky? Come, go. Come. Come, we'll go. Come. 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 Come.
Good evening, dear students. I request everybody to have your pencil, like a pencil or a pen and a book with you. Request all the students to have a book and a pen with you. We'll start. We'll start the session shortly. Request everybody to share the link to your friends and to your known people, because this is very important. It no need to be only students. Anybody can join, but because it is about startup funding, anybody can join. There's no age group or age bar for this. You can share it with all your friends and relatives, adults, whomever you want. I request everybody to switch on your video as well. It is like, we give respect to the speaker. While the speaker is switching on his camera, he's talking for the whole session. It doesn't mean like immediately you have to switch out. Please, like you can start it after the speaker starts a session.
ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮುಖ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಂತ ನೋಡಿ. ಅದೇ ಒಂದ್ 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ.
So very good evening, each and everybody. Let's start the meeting. Let the participants who are joining, let them join all the way. So today's speaker is already, we have had a session with them previously. So Dr. Subhash Sharma, who's a chemical engineer and a gold medalist from Mumbai University, with masters in management from the University of Illinois, USA, and a master trainer, and doctorate in neuro-linguistic programming. Dr. Sumit has authored over 15 books and he's the dean and founder of Utopia Learning and Development Academy in 1997. He is also MD and CEO of Isleworth Trade Links Limited, a large export house since 1955, and has a business experience of 45 years in marketing and selling. So if at all you want to check his like profile or something, he'll be sharing you the LinkedIn profile and his website link. So for more details, you can check it that. So today is going to speak upon startup funding, which is very important for each and every one of us. Also, he is a director on board for Delhi-based NBFC named Capitals Splurge Limited into funding for startups. So like, hope we will start funding after a session, which will be very useful and important for us also. Now I request our speaker, Rotarian, Dr. Rotarian Sumit Sharma, to take over. You have to unmute yourself, I feel. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Sharon, for your kind words.
My pleasure.
And welcome to all of you. So, namaskara, vanakkam, sat sri akal, salam alaikum, and welcome to all of you. So friends, today we are going to talk about a very interesting and a much needed thing, especially with a lot of people losing their jobs in big IT companies. So everybody is thinking of starting their own business. But in the most important thing in business, the bloodline of business is funding. I am sure all of you agree with that. I want to make this session as a little bit of interactive session so that, it's not a kind of a monologue. It is because this is not a speech or anything. So we request you to please on your cameras because I would like to see everybody so that interaction becomes a little easy. And please feel free to raise your hands if you have any doubt while I'm giving this, because we have little time today. So I could answer specific questions of whatever your specific needs are and help you out in these things, So please feel free, but please raise your hand. Don't interrupt in between. That's my personal request to all of you. So I'm sharing my screen. So ma'am, are you able to see my
Yes,
screen?
yes, it is visible.
Very good. So give me a second. So I think today's topic is startup funding options. So first, let us understand what is the scenario, the Indian scenario of startups. With numerous tech firms going public and roughly 42 companies becoming unicorns in 2021, Indian startup ecosystem has come a long way. So according to the Indian Tech Startup Funding Report of 2021 published by INC 42, Indian entrepreneurs raised $42 billion, friends, in cash over 1,583 deals in 21, with over 2,487 different investors participating in the startup funding. The SaaS, e-commerce, financial services, and consumer services, all these sectors got a lot of money from investors, are what we're going to discuss down the lane. I think some of you would have seen this program, the Shark Tank India. It comes on Sony TV. Those of you who subscribe to Sony, it has got an app also. And this is a free thing, so you can see. So a lot of entrepreneurs are pitching their business to real life investors. They are dubbed as sharks and have captivated the audiences. So let's understand what is the definition of a startup. A startup is just a new firm that has recently been established. However, several business schools worldwide have developed a new academic definition of a startup in the last 5 years. According to the report, a startup is a transient company established to look for a repeatable and scalable business model. So, according to the report, a permanent organization designed to carry out repeatable and scalable business model. That's the correct definition of a startup. The founder's goal is to build a dedicated co-founder team with essential skills and competencies to test the initial problem solution and fit the product market fit before developing the company into a substantial company and self-sustaining enterprises. Let's say, friends, you have some idea that you want to have a startup or you want to get into business or whatever. First of all, you should question yourself, who are going to be your co-founder team? Is it you going to be alone, or you're going to have some other colleague partners with you who are going to contribute in what way? And if at all you have to contribute, then it should be very clear between this. And here I want to give a very beautiful example of a company called Mindtree. I think all of you would have heard of this company. It's a very big organization in Bangalore. And this is right now, I think it is about a 5,000 crore company. And this company was formed by all the ex people of Wipro, all the people who worked with Wipro, and whatever Wipro is today, the IT division especially, is because of this team. The main core team was, headed by a gentleman called Mr. Ashok Sutta, who's also the MD of Mindtree even now, and Subrata Bakshi. Subrata Bakshi has also written a very beautiful book on entrepreneurship and also on startups, that what they should do. So even when they started this company, Mindtree, I don't remember the time. I think it was about 10 or 12 years back. It was just like a simple startup, like any other startup. But the way the core team worked towards finding, the solutions and what you can say pain in the society, you need to question your idea. Is it solving any pain in the society, or is it contributing anything to the society, or is it contributing? So unless and until these questions are answered, it is very dangerous to get into any kind of a business. So if you're solving some pain in the society, then yes, then definitely. I urge you to see this program, Shark Tank. It comes, I think, once or twice in a week, or already in archives. If you see in startup, you will be able to see previous programs also. Can some people raise their hand who have already seen this program? I would like to know that. Are there any people who are already seeing this program? Please raise your hands. digital hand.
You can drop even the chat box.
You can put it in the chat
Yes,
box.
we have Dikshak and Arun Kumar who's raising hand.
Very good. So I'll ask Diksha, can you just unmute yourself and on your video and tell what did you find in this program interesting? Diksha, are you there? Who's the other gentleman, ma'am?
The other one was
Arun.
yes.
Arun, can you reply to that, please?
Dikshak has left the meeting.
Arun?
Arun Kumar.
So, okay, let us look at how do startups actually raise the funds. Startup fundraising raises funds to cover the company's operating expenses such as product development, marketing, office space, inventory. In later stage, a company may seek funding to launch a product, expand into new markets, or go public. Bootstrapping is the first step. As the company expands, you'll need money for operations, expansion, marketing. What is the meaning of bootstrapping? The meaning of bootstrapping is that you are self-funding the whole company, and whatever funds you have, you as a founder or this thing, you are starting the whole business with your own funds. But as the business expands, you will not be able to manage just with your own funds. You will need to raise funds from different sources, which we are going to discuss today. In the first step, you seek funding from angel investors, then comes venture capitalist, and finally the initial public offer for your company, depending upon the location of your company and its profit potential. The IPO is what we call it. Every day. Just now also we had a very big IPO, almost 2000 crore. It was raised in the market. So three sources of startup fundings available are equity, debt funding, and government subsidies. And each funding has its both advantage and disadvantage. They're equally effective and essential, what we are going to discuss in the subsequent slides. So innovate or stagnate. In addition to the innovation process itself, from idea to value generating product and business model, startup also require a dedicated and a robust founding team, which we just now discussed, which must develop into a really growing business and organization that captures the value created as a great company. Here also, I want to mention one beautiful book written by a very senior, actually a businessman as well as he's an author. He's an author of a book called Good to Great. I don't know how many of you have read it. It is by Jim Collins, and it's a quite beautiful book. It's all about business, and it's all about how people were not satisfied in just having a good company. They wanted to make a great company. So, can anybody on the chat box mention some great companies? Good companies you can mention easily, but for great companies, you will have to think a lot. Can you mention few great companies whom you really admire? Or need not be a recent company, it can be an old company.
Dr. Subhash Sharma, sorry to interrupt. We have Uma Kumara asking for who is angel investor. What does it mean?
It will come in the next slide, it will come.
Okay. So yes, you all can answer to the present question. Who do you think is the biggest company or greatest company?
Great company, great company.
KK, sir. Okay. Reliance.
Okay.
Manjula says it's Reliance.
Right.
Harsh Soni says it is BlackRock. Anybody else? Yes, that's all. We are not yet getting any answers. Gagan says BlackRock again.
Well, let us look at the Indian scenario. Yes, Reliance to a very great extent is a great company. One more name I'm looking from Indian scenario. Why? Yes,
TCS.
excellent. TCS is still the biggest software company. It is bigger than Infosys also. So TCS is a very good example. Similarly, Infosys is a very good example. These are great companies. They are not just, yeah, Tata's also is a great company. TCS is part of Tata Group only. So these are great companies who are so much focused on the development of the society apart from their company. They don't just believe in making money from themselves. So let us look at I urge you to buy this book from Amazon, Good to Great by Jim Collins. It has analyzed all the top companies in the world like Gillette, several names, I don't remember the names, and it has analyzed that why from just a good company they have become a great company. So it's a very beautiful book. Those of you are doing your management and other thing, it will answer a lot of questions. So great company is an autonomous entity that is no longer reliant on any single person or an organization in which is a necessary knowledge, values, strategy, intellectual properties, and other intellectual properties are permanently embedded in the system and existence, allowing it to operate, improve, and build value for the customer, shareholders, and other critical stakeholders while remaining financially stable thanks to the value of the solution and products it creates. See, Reliance has become a good to a great company only because its focus is in its shareholders. It gives massive returns to the shareholders, and it also takes care of its employees. It takes care of these two people. That is why, from an ordinary, when Dhirubhai Ambani died, the company was only 2000 crores. That time they had only one division, that is Vimal's. So today, friends, it is 100,000 crore company. 100,000 crore company is the value of Reliance all put together. So you can imagine how much of effort they would have put in getting these things done. So what are angel investors? This, Uma, it answers your question. Angel investors are those who make investments in small businesses. They can be individuals or group of individuals with significant experiences are known as angel investors. The majority of them are experienced business owners who have started a firm and they are aware of the issues as well as the opportunities. These are cash rich investors willing to put their money into the startup as a seed capital, and they screen the startup, conduct research, and determine how much the entrepreneur has invested before investing. That is what is called as bootstrapping. Once they are convinced, they provide funding in exchange for convertible debt or equity participation in your firm. A private limited company and a public limited company can issue what is called as convertible debentures. Convertible debentures are that it will remain as a debt on you. And once a company reaches one particular level, let's say 3 years, 5 years down the lane, the same debentures can be converted into equity. So that's why it's called convertible debentures. So it can be a convertible debt. Angel investors even mentor young entrepreneurs. They do, however, invest less than the venture capital and anticipate more significant returns. People like Kunal Shah, Rajan Anandan, Ritesh Malik are well-known individual investors. Those of you who are seeing Shark Tank, all those who come on Shark Tank are angel investors. They don't invest huge money. They help the startups with as low as 15-20 lakhs going up to a crore maximum. They don't invest more than that. So these are called as angel investor. So with that money, you have to prove your metal that whatever your idea is, it gets converted into cash. That's the most important thing you need to understand. There are also angel platforms. Angel funding is often reserved for enterprises that have progressed past the startup stage. These businesses have shown potential in the terms of profit, but they still require funding to develop new ideas, new items, and or expand. Because an angel money is on the line, they may be more willing to mentor or invest directly in your business. Angel platforms are those platforms where investors pool their funds to invest in enterprises because they function as a group. Those investors may provide more considerable sums and control risk. The platform is given some stock in the company and it is rewarded if it succeeds. That means you share some shares from your company, you give share to this platform, and once you give it to the platform, as sorry, as the company grows, the platform, angel platform also starts returning, getting the returns in. So some of the well-known sites are AngelList, Venture Catalyst, and Let's Venture. You can see it on the net. These are very interesting sites to study from. These are angel platforms. What is VC funding? Now we'll go to the different types of fundings which are available for startups. Venture capital fund is a financial institution which invests in new businesses with a good chance of succeeding. This is when the company's funding proceeds to the next level. From angel, it has gone to the next step. So as an institution, venture capital funds invest vast sums of money in the company's growth and expansion while continuously monitoring its progress to ensure that its investment yields long-term returns. So VCs, when they come into a company, they will come for minimum 5 years to 10 years. It's not that they will just invest and they will go, they will remain with you for minimum 5 years to 10 years. Venture capital funds receive shares or equity linked securities from entrepreneurs in exchange for funding. Micro VCs invest in early stage in exchange for piece of the company's stock. In any private limited company, whatever is the share capital you invest, like if you are investing, let's say 1 lakh of rupees and you are issuing, say about 1,000 shares, so 1 lakh divided by 1,000 is the value of one share, So what happens is that you issue number of shares to the directors, to the owners, to the founders, and then some portion you'll also give it to the people who have helped you in the initial stages. As the company grows, then automatically the share price also goes up. So whenever the VC takes an exit policy, which will be agreed in the beginning itself. So when is this exit? Exit is in 5 years or in 10 years. So whatever is the share price at that particular time, they will take it and they'll go away. So this is decided on day one. Exit policy is decided on day one. So there's no mystery. So we know in the beginning itself that whether your VC will be you for 5 years or 10 years or even more, we don't know. So what is CFC? So any question at this stage, friends? Please raise your hand or you can ask on the chat box. Any questions? Because this is a little serious subject, difficult to digest. So maybe I'll also learn something. So let's look at what is CFC. Capital for corporations. Another sort of VC funding is a corporate venture capital, CVC, are giant multinational corporations that invest corporate funds in young, innovative startups for various reasons, including technology, talent pool, and market acquisition. CVCs assist businesses with resources such as marketing expertise, strategic advice, or a line of credit. Being associated with well-known brands might help a business in gaining traction. CVC invests money in exchange of a piece of company's ownership. Indian CVCs include Mahindra Partners, Reliance Ventures, and in recent time, Times Group Brand Capital has done also a very wonderful job. If those of you are subscribing for Times of India, in the Bangalore Times, I think, because we are from Bangalore, we see that. So you will find some, the Times Group is promoting certain brands, certain these things, because actually they have invested in that company as a startup and they are attracted to it. So the company should be convinced that in the long run, this particular product or services has got a long run. So they have a very large vision. So that vision and Times Group, it is easy because they run an online paper, offline paper also. So it's little easy for them to promote a particular brand. Here also, I'll give an example of Google had invested in one small startup. I think they were from Germany. There were 3 or 4 guys. They were very brilliant. Actually, they were the people behind the technology of Google Maps and little other technologies, which was not actually the creation of Google. Google Maps, these people had done a lot of work. These people, actually, there is a very beautiful movie also on this topic, what I'm talking about, where actually later on they filed a case on Google saying that they have stolen their technology. And the whole movie is about how their technology was taken from these small entrepreneurs and actually Google made it big. So today, I don't think so we can live without Google Maps. But the origin, the what you can say, the original genesis of Google Map was done by these three or four guys. I don't remember. They were. I'm very much sure they are from Germany. And later on, the whole thing, Google said it is ours. So there was a case filed on Google internationally. But finally, because of muscle power, because of money power, Google won the case. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, friends, that sometimes the startups have very great ideas and other things, and these VCs or capital, they look for such companies where they can get some great ideas and expand it in a big way. Debt funding. So what is debt funding? For entrepreneurs, equity is a costly source of financing. As a result, non-banking financial corporation, that is NBFC, provide debt funding to VC-backed startups under a hybrid scheme known as venture debt funds. So when Indian government established the Startup India program in 2016, funding for Indian businesses expanded beyond angel investors and venture capitalists. Startups that register for these programs are eligible for subsidies such as 80% discount on patent costs. Patent costs are very expensive, right? And 3-year income tax exemption. That means they don't have to pay any income tax for 3 years. Government disburses these funds as through the organization called as SIDBI, that is Small Industries Development Bank of India, called as Fund of Funds Scheme. We are going to discuss in later slides. The fund invests in venture capital and alternative investment funds, AIFs, that invest in early stage companies. Last year, the government also introduced Startup India Seed Fund, which gives financial institution for early stage businesses. Friends, there are a lot of schemes by Government of India, Startup India, Atmanirbhar India, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So many schemes are there. Unfortunately, friends, the sad story is that the general public doesn't know about it. Whether it is lack of promotion or whether it's a deliberate strategy, I really don't know. When I talk to people about these schemes, they actually laugh at me. They say, sir, it is not possible what you are saying. But to be frank with you, there are a lot, and these remain unexplored. So there is a lot of money which remains in these organizations, and they are transferred year to year because the lack of awareness and knowledge on these kind of funds are not there with the general public. So that's why this is a very important today discussion, because if you keep it at the back of your mind that these are the facilities available, you can visit these. The all are online only, so you don't have to physically go anywhere. You can apply. They will definitely, you can get more information about these kind of schemes. Now look at something very interesting. What are incubators? Incubators and accelerators are analogous to a startup prep school. Well, all other funding options are already existing enterprises. So 4 to 8 month programs providing funding and a place for entrepreneurs to interact with investors, mentors, and also startups. So what incubators do generally, for especially the student class people, the moment they have graduated and they have got their degrees, they provide them some place at a very nominal price. And in that, so that, they can share their place, they can provide them with some machinery if they need, or some systems and other thing. And they tell them whatever R&D you want to do, whatever perfection you do it at our place. So they provide them the place. And this place, what they do is that they keep on calling different angel investors, funders and they have once or twice in a week meetings with the startups. And if anybody gets interested, they sign the deal there and there itself. So this is a new fashion in vogue, because accelerator and incubators. Like I just met a gentleman about last week itself, and he runs a small incubator where about 40 startups are there, and he provides help to them. And out of that, almost 10-12 people have already got the funding. So it's that fast. In fact, in Bangalore, I'm on Old Airport Road. So there is one beautiful place, Oxford Towers. And in that, there is a place provided by NASCOM. There are 1,000 startup friends, 1,000 startups are there. So like that, what I'm saying, a place is provided and there's a regular interaction with this thing. So those of you who are graduated or just about to graduate, you can always think on these lines of getting into a place where, because you have some ready-made guys coming to you almost every second day, so you can I'm sure if you meet 10 people, at least one will get interested in. There's a lot of hard work which is required in the initial stages to convince the people to invest in your company, because you have to have some unique idea. It is not just that you do what others are doing, then what is the difference? 0 into 0 is equal to 0 only. Please understand that. So in most cases, accelerator incubators are located in big cities and need an ownership stake in the return of the services. Individual entities or large corporations or big tech companies are in charge of this program. Like just now I told you about NASSCOM. NASSCOM is the Indian body where all the IT companies come under this body, like FICCI or any of the big organizations. A few popular accelerator programs for Indian entrepreneurs are Y Combinator, GSF Accelerator, Microsoft Accelerator, Google Launchpad Accelerator, and Geogen Next. So these are the different examples of big guys who are helping small entrepreneurs to establish themselves. Now, something very interesting. What is a family office? A family office is a financing alternative that is sometimes ignored. Private firms that manage investments and trusts for a high net worth family or a group of families are family offices. Family offices are renowned for their being secretive, and that is why they are misunderstood. But understanding how they invest in new companies and their application criteria could be a key in gaining funding for your business. Family offices are more patient than angel investors, allowing businesses to invest more time, money, and resources into their businesses. Getting in touch with the correct family office, on the other hand, is crucial. Around 140 Indian family offices have invested heavily in startup environment, and they have been actively involved in 50 plus such deals every year since 2015. So according to Praxis Global Alliance, they keep a data of 256 network studies. By 2025, Indian family offices are expected to contribute 30% of the $100 billion raised by the Indian entrepreneur. So friends, you can see in this photograph, I think all famous names. Can some people name what are the photos you see? Can you name a few people? You can unmute yourself or maybe put it on the chat box. Who are these people?
Can I have the answers in the chat box?
Ratan Tata.
Very good. Who else?
We have got one answer. Others, please.
Come on, these are the most famous faces of this country, and if you can't recognize them, then I don't know what to say.
Anand Mahendra.
Very good.
From Gagan.
Yeah, Anand Mahendra. Very good. Who else?
Narayana Murthy from Uma Kumara.
Yes, I saw that. Every time you recognize, you'll get a prize. Sharon, am I right or am I right?
Yes.
And if you don't answer,
let the answers be fast.
Yeah, quickly.
To grab the prizes.
Tell me, who's this guy?
Sachin Tendulkar, Uma Kumara.
No. You know who is he?
Like Nandan.
No, he is not now. Whom I'm pointing, this one, the one with the beard. Can anybody do? Because he needs real recognition.
Mohandas.
Yeah. Mohandas Pai.
So the praise goes to our president.
Very good. So Mohandas Pai, I want to make a special mention of this gentleman. Actually, he was the person who did the turnaround for Infosys. You know, the founders of Infosys are all tech people. Nanmurthy is not a finance guy. Okay. And apart from him, I don't remember the other people. Nandan Nilekani, also more of a technical guy. Of course, after all, then later he left Infosys and joined, the Aadhaar card, what you guys are having today, it's a very common thing with everybody. The person behind Aadhaar card is Nandan Nilekani. And here, for the interest of the Rotarians, I want to mention when I'm the past president of Rotary Orchards Club, and Nandan Nilekani was one of my guests, and he came to one of our meetings. And of course, everybody knows what a big he's today worth, friends, personally worth around 15 to 16,000 crores. Personally, is worth, And when he came to my Rotary Club, I'm sure Murugesh ji will agree that presidents of Rotary Club are always looking for funding or some kind of a support from big companies. We're always looking for that. So I'm talking about time called 2003. And then we also, and he was just sitting next to me, and I was the president, and he came for a very interesting talk to just motivate the people. There were 200 people in the gathering. And later on, I just requested him, sir, we are doing a lot of social work as a Rotary. I'm sure you know what is a good work Rotary is doing worldwide. So if you could just contribute something, I would be very happy, sir. Then what happened, he just immediately took over, he told his assistant to come and gave him the checkbook. And he just took one checkbook and signed and quickly gave it to me. And I thought he wrote some figure on the check, and I just coolly put it in the pocket. All the time I was thinking that he has given me 50,000 rupees. And when the meeting was over, when I opened it, I was say, lo and behold, it was 5 lakhs of rupees. Now, 5 lakhs in 2003 is a big amount, friends. Now it may not be a big thing, but I'm talking it is equivalent to giving 20 lakhs now, that way. So what I'm trying to tell you, friends, these people are givers, because givers only gain. When you give only, you get. You don't give, you don't get enough. So Mohandas Pai is a person actually beyond the turnaround of this thing. He is a hardcore finance guy, So he studied the business model of Infosys, and that is how he converted Infosys from just another software company to a legendary company. What we just now discussed, good to great. So today, how Infosys has become great, giving employment to more than 5 lakh, I don't know, 10 lakh people, and especially people who have just graduated, they go to Infosys not for salary, but for the training and for the ethics on which they have built the organization. It's one of the companies I admire personally, because all these companies are role model to youngsters like you, because when you role model these people, you'll follow their ethics, you'll follow their way of working, the SOPs, what they do. This will definitely, motivate you. Similarly, here we have the founder of Wipro. So like that, friends, these are motivating people. Then we come to funding from banks. Banks, despite the numerous new funding options available to new businesses, bank loans are still the viable option. Banks offer a variety of loans, including equipment loan, startup business loan, working capital, all with varied terms. Every stage of a company development can be financed with this loan. Of course, banks frequently want additional collateral and various sources of income for an idea stage company. Two well-known banks and non-banking finance corporation that provide loans to Indian author are Floriton India and Omizing India. The problem with the banks is that their interest rates are high, anything between 12% to 16%, and they will ask for a promoter's contribution of minimum 25%. So that is why bank loans sometimes becomes difficult for startups, because if they have collateral, it is fine. If they don't have collateral, then they don't know where to go. That's where the problem. Now we look at what is crowdfunding, a very interesting thing, and it is becoming really interesting over the days. Crowdfunding, another less popular start funding option is crowdfunding. So what is crowdfunding? A group of retail investors seeking alternative investments gather on a platform, and they read the business plan and invest in a startup of their choice. Every investor puts a set of amount of money into the business idea to make a more significant profit, which we call it as peer-to-peer lending. Another possibility is equity crowdfunding. However, its legality in India is unclear. There are a lot of scams and disagreements in this crowdfunding sector, because it can be misused, because you are not giving any documentation for that. How crowdfunding works is, let's say you want to raise 100 rupees. So you can divide that 100 rupees into 10 people contributing 10 rupees each, or you can contribute into 100 people all contributing 1 rupee each. So that 100 rupees goes into the business and we earn another 100 rupees as a profit. So what happens is that 100 rupees is divided by either 10 or either, so that's the profit. That is the concept of crowdfunding. When Vimal's started its business, there is a very beautiful movie, Hindi movie called Guru, where Abhishek Bachchan is the hero and he has acted as a young Dhirubhai Ambani. And that's a very beautiful movie. All of you guys should see that. It's all available on YouTube, where Dhirubhai Ambani goes to the public. At that time, there was no, kind of a systematic way of raising funds. So what he did, he approached the general public and he said, see, I'm going to make a textile mill and I want all of you to invest. So basically in Gujarat, they all go by trust, and the Gujarati people are all very fond of earning money. So people, he collected funds from as low as 10 rupees going to 1,000 rupees or even 1 lakh rupees. So it was a kind of a crowdfunding, but he took care of these investors. He took care of these investors and he saw that they get the returns and other things like that. And now rest is history, friends. People who have invested in Reliance 25 years back, just 10,000 rupees, just 10,000 rupees. Can you tell me what is the share value now? Right now, what would be the value of that 10,000 rupees? I'll give you a price personally. Anybody on the chat box? Rough idea. 10,000 rupees 25 years back in Reliance. What will be its value now approximately? Yes, ma'am, you are saying something?
No.
How much?
More than 10 lakhs from Gagan.
Oh, 10 lakhs.
We have another answer. Just a second. 2 crore, Harsh Soni. Anyone else? We have only 2 members in the participant list. 3 crores, Akash. Dikshak, maybe 10 crores. Uma Kumara, more than 1 crore. Rahul, 10 crores again.
You'll be shocked at the figure, friends. It's worth 35 crores. 10,000 rupees invested in 25 years back has become so much. And it is on the net also. In fact, one of the farmers in Maharashtra, way back in, I think, 70s or something, he invested in a stock. I don't know, it was Wipro or this thing. And then the whole village was laughing at him. They say, hey, sab company bhag jayega, all these fellows are chores, Stock market means chore only for everybody, Where today it's the most reliable business, the business where everybody can earn money sitting at home, in fact. And in fact, but you should know the nuances. You cannot enter into anything. You can't jump into the water without knowing swimming. If you want to jump in the water, do it with a trained coach. Don't jump in the water without, so that is stupidity or madness. So that's why I'm trying to tell you, friends, ki if ignorance is bliss, then knowledge is power. Indian Securities and Exchange, that is SEBI, has issued a warning against unregistered digital product, because a lot of mischief happens and then people go and complain to the government, oh, I lost my money and other things like that. So they leave it to personal choice. If you trust the company, trust the person, you do it. Otherwise, don't come back to us. It's simple. So Seed Invest Technology, Mighty Cause, Start Engine, GoFundMe, Grip Invest, all these are Impact Guru, are the crowdfunding sites for entrepreneurs. You can make a note of this. Funds based on revenue. Now, this is something very interesting. Revenue-based financing allows the businesses to receive its future revenues in advance, which it can use to fund inventory, advertising, and marketing. And the payment part is customizable and is based on the percentage of the company's monthly sales. So various revenue-based lending organizations have emerged in India in recent times. The big names are Velocity, Get Advantage, Club, are revenue-based, and some banks also, they call it factoring. What happens is that you maybe raising an invoice of, let's say, 10 lakhs every month, and what you do, you go to the bank, and if they have the factoring facility, you give this because you have given credit, so your money will come maybe after 2 months or 3 months or whatever it is. So there, what you do, you just give these invoices and you can draw 80% or 85% of the bill value. So that is based on your revenue. So there is no liability on you. When the payment comes, that loan gets neutralized. So it's a very nice way of funding people, because they don't have to wait for the payment to come. In any business, friends, the most important thing is maintaining the payment cycle. Your cash flows are more important than any other flow. If you have proper cash flow, then only you can survive in business. And most people do mistake in that. They do not maintain cash flows. They do not have what we call it as a proper working capital. So if one payment doesn't come, they keep on weeping, and then they say, ayo, ayo, ayo. That is the statement they make all the time, all day. SIDBI funding, very interesting. Government of India formed a fund of 10,000 crores to increase capital availability as well as to catalyze private investment and thereby accelerate the growth of Indian startup ecosystem. The fund was set up as a funds of funds for startup, FFS, approved by the cabinet and established by Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIT. FFS, this is for the what we call it as Startup India. If you want to register into Startup India, you have to take this certificate of DPIIT, then only the banks will entertain you. FFS does not invest in startups directly, but provides capital to SEBI-registered alternative investment funds, AIFs, which are known as daughter funds, who in turn invest money in high-potential Indian startups. SIDBI has been given the mandate for managing the FFS through the selection of daughter funds and overseeing the dispersal of the committed capital. The funds of funds make downstream investment in venture capital and alternative investment funds that in turn invest in the startups. The fund has been formed in a way that creates a catalyzing a ripple effect, and funding is provided to startups through different life cycles, maybe 1 year, second tranche, maybe second year, third year. So friends, something very shocking in the last budget, 28th February 2003, SIDBI has committed 8,294 crores to 103 AIFs. Further, 3,654 crores has been distributed to 74 AIFs. A total of 14,828 crores has been injected to boost 818 startups. Last budget, if you have studied carefully, Finance Minister has been very gracious in giving, friends, 50,000 crores, 50,000 crores to MSME. MSME means what? Anybody can put it in the chat? Why I ask you question? Because I need to check whether you are awake and alive. Isn't it?
Yes.
Awake and alive, that is important. Let's look at ECB, another very interesting form of funding. Funding can be obtained from non-resident lenders, commonly called as external commercial borrowings. This can be through NRIs or it can be through HNIs. What is HNIs? High network investors, or NRIs. All of you know what is full form of NRI? Come on. It's not non-reliable Indian. It is non-resident Indians, okay? So there will be people, Indians who are staying abroad, so they fund the projects here in India. So the various forms of ECB can be procured are bank loans. So buyer-supplier credit is given. Securitized instruments like non-convertible debentures, optional convertible or partially convertible debentures, floating rate notes, fixed rate notes. This is the way they actually fund. These ECB come through two routes. One is called as the automatic route. Automatic route are the where government has already given permission to invest in that particular venture. Like earlier, friends, there, outside people are not allowed to invest in insurance companies in India. Like you have an insurance company in India and you want funds for that. So if that was not allowed earlier, I'm talking of, I think 3-4 years back, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. In fact, now it has become, government has allowed it and put it in the automatic route. So it's very freely. See, friends, the ECB funds to them it is nothing. Because the moment it comes to India, they get an appreciation of minimum 80 times to 100 times, because dollar rate is average 80 rupees, euro rate is 90 rupees. So that is the kind of appreciation they get. So for them, it is a very small amount of money. Like when we talk about $100,000, so $100,000 multiplied by 80 rupees or 90 rupees is 90 lakhs of rupees, which is a very big amount. But for them, $100,000 is equivalent to what is 10 lakhs to us. You multiply it by 10 times. So 10 lakhs is not a very big amount, you can say, but 90 lakhs is definitely a big amount. But for them, $100,000 is nothing. It's a very small thing, which any of the big cars may cost that kind of a money. So that is why today foreign funding has become very, very common, and it has become very, very viable, because for them it is nothing. And the other is the approval route. Approval route means FDI, foreign direct investments. You have to go through permission of the Reserve Bank of India. Only then you will be allowed to take the funds from what. But according to me, friends, there are very, very small categories where you need actually any kind of approval from FDI. So there are some banned categories where you cannot take foreign funds for certain things. You will have to see the website of the Ministry of Industry and Commerce. You will get all the complete list at what is allowed and what is not allowed. Of course, there are professionals who work on this subject only. Anybody needs help, you can get in touch with me, because I also don't know. I'm not an expert on the FDIs and Reserve Bank details, but definitely I have professionals with me whose job is that only. So they will get FDI approval for you in case you are getting anybody from abroad to invest in your company. Funding against SBLC. What is SBLC? Standby letter of credit. Some 25 AAA banks like Citibank, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, StanChart, I'm sure all of you guys know this name. They open what is called as a standby letter of credit, which is like an advanced bank draft. It is guaranteed money. There's no if and buts about it. It is guaranteed money. And it is between bank to bank. It is not bank to person or a person to bank. It is bank to bank. So let's say HSBC Hong Kong opens a SBLC on India, HSBC India. It's a guaranteed instrument. So they know that this money will come after 1 year's time. So what they do, they give you funding almost 90 to 95% against the standby letter of credit. In fact, my son was in Hong Kong for almost 5 years, and with Singapore, he used to shuttle between that. His main business was to raise SBLCs from 25 AAA banks and give it to people in India who deserve funds. Like you see, especially people who are builders, who are contractors. They are on the banned list of the bank. They are restricted funding. They don't get funding from the banks. So for them, the most important, easy thing is SBLC. But the ticket size of SBLC is high, friends. It is 10 million USD minimum. No SBLC can be opened below that. Any bank in India will discount it for 1 year, and you can again renew it. So like against, let's say $10 million you have got, you get 90% of the money, and your project is not yet over. For builders, it makes sense, because they know in 1 year's time, their project will be complete and they will be able to sell their flats or whatever it is. They can recover that money by selling the flats, and they can pay back the SBLC. So choice is yours, what you want to do. So my son is actually an expert on SBLC. Anybody needs that help, we can give you 100% information on this. CGT MSME. What is the meaning of CGT MSME? MSME, I think all of you know, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. CGT means Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small. What is the meaning of this? CGT means that tomorrow, any funding given by MSME up to 1 crore without any collateral they take. And in fact, I'm on the board of Karnataka MSME, Government of Karnataka. And here we give loans 1 crore without collateral. 2 crores and above we give, we fund up to even 100 crores, that's not an issue. But anything about 2 crores, we need a collateral. Collateral can be 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, that depends on the bank, how they decide, But when you say CGT, CGT means that tomorrow the unit becomes NPA. NPA means what? Non-performing asset. Let us say it is, the business is closed down. So in CGT scheme, the government will pay money to the bank. That is why banks have zero risk, because when they fund you, tomorrow, let us say down the lane, 1 year, 2 years down the lane, you become an NPA, you still get there's no worry, because the government takes care of that particular loan. There will be no personal liability on you. Any other bank loan you take, I don't know how many of you have taken bank loans, and please remember how many papers you have signed. Like the documents will run in 40 page, 50 pages like this. So when you sign these things and you give a personal guarantee as a partner or director of the company, you are legally, you are under the scrutiny of the bank, in the sense, if the company is not able to pay the funds, you will have to pay it personally, But when you take funding under CGT, you are free from any personal liability. That is why this thing. So there are many banks, NSIC, SIDBI, who have signed agreement with the CGT, so that tomorrow there is no long-term liability on you. This is one of the best things the present government has done for the general public, that there is no long-term liability in case the business fails. Now, this is my company, friends, Capital Splurge Limited. I'm sorry to be exuberant, but I think people should know this. We do funding from 25 lakhs onwards to 50 crores unsecured. Secured is up to 500 crores, where we take 1:0.3 security, that to no mortgage. It is a simple mortgage. So not even simple means we just keep the property papers with us, original. Tenure can be 8 years to 12 years, extendable to 15. Rate of interest is only 3 to 5% per annum, not per month, per annum. Subsidy is 15%, going up to 40% for specific projects like lady entrepreneur, tribal project, energy saving, waste management, education, or any other project by which social impact will be there. What do we mean by means your project is going to do, like if you do any tribal welfare. So your money you're definitely going to use for the benefit of the tribal. So government gives you subsidy of 15 to 40%, means you don't have to pay back that money. Let's say you take a funding of 1 crore from us and you come under any of these categories. You will definitely get minimum 15%. But if you come under special category, you will get 40 lakhs extra, which you don't have to pay back. It's a gift from government to you. See how many facilities government is giving, but people don't know where to go. Moratorium period means there will be no principal to be paid for the first 6 months, up to 2 years, depending on the loan what you have taken. And there is no foreclosure charge. Let's say, oh, your business is doing very well. In 3-5 years, you want to close down the loan, you can close it without any foreclosure charges, which every bank, everybody charges. They charge minimum 2 to 3% as foreclosure charges. So this is my online profile, friends. So you can make a note of it. And now I open up the floor for questions. Please feel free, because you will not get this opportunity again.
Request you all to drop your questions in the chat box, or I'm giving you the option. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, please unmute, ma'am, to everybody, as long as there is no disturbance.
Yes, speaker, you can also unmute yourself now, because you have to unmute yourself. Speaker, Dr. Sumit. Yes. Yes. So, dear students, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. The time is yours. See, this is a very big opportunity you have got, and we are. Yes, Ashwini. Ashwini, we are not able to hear you. Anybody else with question? Is there any age restriction for asking funding for any project? By Harsha Soni.
Of course, you have to be adult first. Minimum 18 years of age is the requirement by Government of India. It's not that 10 years old and then you ask for funding for chocolate and biscuits, So you have to be a minimum adult of 18 years plus.
Anyone else? It's about funding where you will not get an opportunity again. You can go ahead and asking questions. We are not asking anything from you. We are just asking you to ask questions. How to grow CIBIL scores?
Who is that? Harsh Soni, is it? Very good. The fastest way to grow your CIBIL scores, if your score is low, there are several reasons for your CIBIL to be low. If there is any default in the payment, or any of the loans you have not cleared in the past, or there are too many check bounces or EMI bounces, then the CIBIL score comes down. The worst thing to spoil the CIBIL score and also improve the CIBIL score is the credit card. See what happens with the credit card, even if it is 10,000, 20,000 rupees limit they have given. What people do, they use it up to the brim. They use it full 20,000 they will use. And the bill comes and they very cleverly write, okay, minimum due is only 2,000 rupees, 10%. So what people do, they just clear that 2,000. But CIBIL doesn't like that. CIBIL says that if you are, so your credit rating is actually coming down if you are only doing minimum due. What you should do, you should plan your credits. I'm not against using credit card, but a very high financial discipline is required in the sense, let's say you have, let's say 1 lakh rupees limit in the credit card, and you have used it, let's say for 50,000 rupees. You have the money, so you get 45 days credit anyway, interest-free credit. The moment it goes beyond 45 days, a credit card can be a very expensive affair, friends. You know, they charge you anything between minimum 3% to 4% on the remaining amount. That's the kind of interest rate the card charges you. Apart from that, penalty charge, if you miss on that particular day, the payment penalty charge, and so many things which are hidden, which you don't come to know. So biggest culprit is actually your credit card. But if you are a person with financial discipline, let's say you have signed up, same example, 1 lakh you have signed up for 50,000 rupees. And in 45 days time, you have cleared that 50,000 rupees. Immediately your CIBIL score will go up. So that's the best way the credit card can improve your CIBIL score also and damage your CIBIL score also. So you should be very careful when you use it, that you should be, this is generally credit cards are used because, you know, you don't want to carry cash everywhere. And especially when you sign up, like I use credit card only for 2-3 things. I don't use it for my daily groceries and other thing. I use it for, you know, like airline tickets and for the hotels and other thing. When we go outside, when we travel, it's a useful instrument, you know, you don't have to carry so much of cash or other things like that, you know. So that way credit card is very useful. In fact, when we go abroad, we use only credit cards because for 2 reasons. One is you don't have to carry American Express, you know, those notes. And secondly, you don't have to carry different denomination currencies with you. So the best way to improve your score is to have a credit card discipline. Or you should go, one of the mischiefs banks do, sometimes you have settled a loan. Let's say you have a car installment and you are paying and sometimes some extra money comes to you. So what happens, you go to the bank and you pay the balance amount, whatever is the outstanding amount. You know, the company will put it in CIBIL as, the bank will put it in the CIBIL as default. This is the surprising thing, a lot of people don't know. Even if you foreclose on a loan, they will say it is default. Why? You know, the bank doesn't report your closure to the CIBIL department. So CIBIL takes it as a default. So that is how your score comes down. Whenever you close a loan, friends, that mistake I also did. Now, when I got into the funding line, that is how I literally become an expert on this. I can give you personal counseling on this. What you should do whenever you close a loan, you must take a letter from the bank that I'm closing this loan, we have received this amount, and we shall report this to the CIBIL. You should take it in writing. If you don't take it in writing, you are asking for trouble. And if they give it in writing, and if they don't report to the CIBIL that this has been settled and closed, you know, you can go to the consumer protection and claim whatever damages you have, this thing, there is a personal reputation damage and also the money damage to you because of their reasons. You will not get the next loan, which is not your fault. So you must know law properly, friends. If you want to be successful in business, ABC, A of business is not only your attitude, but also the law. B is business and C is the commitment. So these are the things the banks do mischief and which you should be aware of. Every bank does it. You know why? Because when you go for the NOC from them, that time they will demand more money. They'll say, sir, so much of outstanding of interest is there. You pay that interest, then only we'll give you NOC. This is the mischief they do, So let us be aware. Don't think that they are all what we say in Hindi, Doodh ka dula. They are not that straight. Banks also do mischief to extort more money from you. Yeah. Ma'am, other questions?
Could you come again the speaker? Like I was not able to hear you properly.
So now I was asking for, please motivate others to, sir, why do startups fail? Diksha, even after receiving funds, what are some of the basic frameworks they miss out? Very good question. Why do startups fail? The problem is that their business plan has to be very, very perfect. They don't have to just plan what we call a short-term planning for next 6 months time or 1 year time and 3 years time. Their vision and mission statement should be very perfectly planned, which actually comes out in the initial pitch deck. We as an NBFC, we demand pitch deck from day one. And there is something called as a personal discussion and personal due diligence we do when people come to us, where we spend 1 hour with the entrepreneur and we understand their business very thoroughly. Fortunately, friends, being in business for 45 years, you tell me any business you want to start up, I will tell you whether it will work or not work. It's not out of knowledge, it is out of experience. So what happens is that, or if at all you're going into it, then what are the precautions you need to take? So that precautions are very important. So what happens is that, remember, ma'am, Gautami, please, ma'am. So what happens is that when your planning is not proper, fail to plan to fail. Murugesh ISO statement. Fail to plan to fail. It is very important. The plannings people don't do properly. That is one reason. Second reason is they misuse the funds. Now, when I was in MSME, people used to get very large fundings, 1 crore, 2 crore, and other things like that. The moment they get that funding, husband, wife will sit and discuss, Ian Manana, please tell us what to do. Then wife will say, sir, to her husband, there is one land in Dodbalapur, very near to the airport, new airport. It is available only for 25 lakhs of rupees. Over 5 years, it will become 1 crore. So why don't we invest there? So they will divert this fund from this. They will invest in some land, which is not supposed to be done legally. When they divert the funds, they are putting a hammer on their own toe. So that is the second reason where people fail, because of non-planning and misuse of the funds. These funds are only to be used for business, for expansion, for marketing, for your what is called as your inventory and any kind of R&D. You have to meticulously plan the things on an Excel sheet. Because whenever any money is there lying in your bank, there will be always temptation to spend it in. And you have to be extremely frugal. Remember that, because if you are not frugal, you are asking for trouble. And definitely, that is why the CIBIL, although it is not a very accurate indicator, it's only an indicator of the indicator. So government has created CIBIL that banks will just have an indication. It is not absolute, because there are a lot of things. A lot of people think that if they have a high CIBIL score, they will get the loan. No. I had one customer whose CIBIL score was 870. 870. Still he didn't get the loan. Now you tell me why. Why? Because his financial discipline was not there. When the bank studied his haphazard way of using the money, they said, nothing doing, sir. Your discipline in finance is not there. That's why, in a company, finance only one person should handle. I feel, it's my opinion, I may be wrong, women are better in handling finances than men. Men are little, they spend whenever it is required, but women will be very frugal by nature. They are like that only. They like to save, whereas men like to spend. But some of the men will not agree. They say, no, sir, my wife likes to spend only, not save. When it comes to her, that's the thing. So this is what you need to understand, that company finances are to be handled by one person, and that person should be very strict. What type of bank account we should open? It has to be a current account only. You can't open any other account. It has to be for a business purpose. It has to be a current account. For you to open a current account, you need your what is called as your, of course, your PAN card, Aadhaar card, and of course the GST in this thing. How much percentage should we contribute towards? What is this, CRS or it is CSR?
It's a crore, I think, so they're asking.
I beg your pardon? No, what is the spelling? How much percentage should be contributed towards CRS activity or is CSR? Corporate Social Responsibility.
CSR.
It is CSR. Please be careful of the spellings when you type, because every nomenclature, the meaning changes. As students, you need to understand that you need to be very perfect in life. You can't do anything, especially on a forum like this where educated people are sitting. See, CSR contribution is for a small company. When you are a startup, you don't have to bother about CSR. CSR will come into picture when you are already a big company, and as it is for large companies, there is a law, especially IT companies, they have to contribute 2% of their profit. Murugesh, am I right, sir? 2% of their profits?
2%.
2%.
2%. In some corporates, it's up to 5%.
Okay. Some other companies, it can be 5%, but that is not an immediate thing. See, that is your choice. Let us say you want to contribute from your company 2%, 3%. There is no mandate on you at the moment, but for very large companies having a huge turnover, anything above 100, 500 crores, for them, CSR activity is a must. 5 years, no, sir?
No, it's 5% for every year.
5% every year. Very good. So Diksha is asking, what is that? My follow-up question is that how can teens get into this and create this business plan and build a successful startup? At this stage, if you are a teenager, teenager means, as I told you already, you have to be above 18 to get it. And maybe, I don't know what will be a funding requirement, maybe a few lakhs or whatever it is. I would suggest you to go for anything to do with an online business plan, because that is the safest today and it is the most popular and most effective. If you go for you can even do marketing, like, like I give my products, I'm into organic food business. So I do private labeling for a lot of people, and these people sell it online. And some of them are doing an extremely good job, because you guys by default who are young, they know computers and mobiles much well. So get into any kind of online selling and other things like that. You will be successful, because there is no big investment you have to do. Like your whole problem can get solved in 1.5, 2 lakhs of rupees, and out of the profit, you can plow it back on this thing. Does that answer your question, Diksha?
Sir, can I add something over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Diksha, just to answer your question, India does not have a law that says a teenager cannot start, provided he is funded properly and he is supported by his mentors. He can run a company registered on his name. However, he gets control of the company only after he is 18. He cannot take control of the organization. He can run the organization through his mentors. That's all, he or she. So just to add to what Dr. Sumit was saying, the funding may come to your organization, but it will come to the organization and not to you personally. It does not say It does not say team should not be there or anything other than company ke paas aayega. That's it.
Only thing, because of your age factor may sometimes work against you, because you, when you go and talk to the bank manager and other things like that, since you do not have sufficient experience, bank may be scared to give you any kind of a loan. And so it may not be in very high amount, but few lakhs, 1 or 2 lakhs this way, that way, and other things is okay. So that's where your bootstrapping comes. Initially, you start up the business with whatever funds you have. 100% you can't depend only on the loan and do business. Then don't do business. Better you take up a job. 100%. So what is your commitment and what is your contribution? Bank is going to ask you. So again, Gagan asked that while taking loan from bank for startups, existing business, what are the hidden things we must look at? Hidden things, what you need to look at is the agreement what you sign with them, because that agreement will have a lot of hidden things that, let's say there is a penalty clause, let's say you miss an EMI, or what are the payment things, and when the loan closes, and what will be the foreclosure charges. Because most of these banks are very happy in foreclosing because they get the money back. Secondly, they charge you heavily amount, So let us say they can charge anything between 3 to 5% for foreclosing an account. So they are very happy for foreclosing. But these are the, the micro things which you need to look at with a, magnifying glass, and you need to be careful. Get it vetted from one of the lawyers. There are plenty of people available to do that, kind of what we call as vetting by a lawyer. See, if you do not know the subject well, don't try to do everything on your own. It's not possible. So you need to see, friends, when I started business, when I'm in business for so many years, but I work with a cricket team, and that cricket team, each one is an expert on that subject. I don't, but whenever I sit with them, I learn from them. And that is a learning process which I carry on, and I'm not selfish. I'm giving it to youngsters. I'm a mentor to several companies, and our idea is that it should be a win-win. It should be a successful. If I can help somebody to become successful, because nothing happened just like that. Today, businesses are not doing well. If they have become NPAs, then there is a cause behind it. I think all of us understand, the cause and effect, this thing. It's like Newton's law. Every action has got an equal and opposite reaction. So what happens is that people do not take certain precautions while starting the business. They spend the loan money, and that loan money becomes a liability lifelong. And lifelong, they are paying interest on them. And in extreme cases, it has happened that people have committed suicide. Because earlier, let me tell you, not now, I think 5 or 6 years back, even banks like Citibank, I'll tell you a beautiful story. 12 years, 15 years back, if you don't pay back Citibank loan, you know what they will do? There'll be some 5 to 10 gundas who will come to your house. They'll pick you up and take you to such a remote place where nobody can find you. And there they will threaten you that if you do not pay the loan back, we are going to remove your kidney, sell it, and then we are going to recover this money. Imagine. This was the status of Citibank 15 years back. Then what happened? Public took it up with the government of India. And in Supreme Court, a case was filed against Citibank that these are the things which they are doing. And then government came out with a law. The law is, remember this law very carefully, no bank officer for whatever loan, let it be 10,000 or 10 lakh rupees, can come and harass you or talk out of the way in any way with you. If they do that, simply file a police complaint. Simply file a police complaint, and within no time they will be taken into custody. So nowadays, if you have seen, none of the banks, they talk out, they can't even threaten you on the phone also. 506, 506B can be filed under IPC section. And personally, if they're coming and talking any nonsense with you or harassing your family member in your absence, just record it and just go to the police station and see what happens. Police is very happy taking these cases, You know why? Because they get money out of it. I'm sorry to say that. And they'll call this fellow and they will harass him that if you don't give us 50,000 rupees, we are not going to leave you for lifelong. You will be here only. The police is very happy with these kind of cases, because it directly comes under mental harassment. Mental harassment case is a very dirty case. If it is on somebody, on the bank people, so they are very scared. Some of the sensible guys never do it, but they'll keep on following up with you. They'll irritate you by doing 10, 15 calls in a day. So you'll have no other option but to block them. So don't do that stage. Plan your business very well, and profitability, the bottom line in a business is more important than turnover. A lot of people say, oh, my turnover is 50 lakhs a month. I say, how much are you saving? Out of 50 lakhs, if you're saving only 50,000, then you're not doing business. Then you're doing only charity. In 50,000, I'm saying your minimum after paying expenses, taxes, everything, you should save 10% at least from the turnover. If you don't do it, then don't do the business, friends. You're going to get into trouble. So this is where we need to do it. Right, friends? I think we don't have any other question. Last question, friend. How to design a go-to-market strategy or a tight budget for an online business? What kind of a business model works the best in situation? 1% business owner. I would suggest you get in touch with me. After the meeting, I have given you my contact details, because I have another meeting, friends, so I'll have to rush for that. It has already started. So you have my contact details. So you can please get in touch with me. Maybe I'll guide you on the phone or Zoom or whatever it is. Are you from Bangalore, or where are you from actually?
I think she is from Bangalore.
Sorry?
I think she is from Bangalore. Diksha. No, he is Diksha. So.
Okay, good. So you can get in touch with me. You can maybe meet in my office. I am next to the HAL airport. So you can be rest assured. So thank you so much, friends. I hope you enjoyed this program. Over to the president, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sumit. It was a wonderful session. Right? Educating these youngsters for financial growth itself is a big blessing in disguise for them, I think. I would let Sharon take over from now, and if I guess you have to leave for another meeting, so we will connect later in the evening. So.
Thank you very much, President. Thank you very much, dear speaker, Dr. Sumit Sharma. So it was excellent having a session like how to start up funding, great companies, angel platforms, what is VC funding, what is CFC, and the capital for corporations, what are the incubators, what is family office funding from banks, what is crowdfunding, and etc, etc, etc. So we had a lot of knowledge. Students came up with a lot of questions. I think in as many as sessions they have attended today, the questions has been like, if I give them another half an hour, it will exist. So it will extend actually. Yeah. So really, thank you for that, Sumit Sharma. You have made everybody to ask questions. You have dig their knowledge today. Thank you very much. And I request all the students, like you have had sessions as we are running short of time, we'll wind up with this. And if at all you have any doubts on any of the topics you have attended till today, and if you want to connect with anybody, you all, I hope you all have the brochures and you have my contact number. You can call me at any time, ask any of their contact numbers or LinkedIn ID. It's better to connect with them in LinkedIn and Instagram and like Twitter instead of calling them directly, because they'll be having with they'll be busy with some other work or something. If at all you connect with them in LinkedIn, they will call you while they are free. If you drop your contact numbers and get connected. Yes,
no, with
President.
me, they can call on WhatsApp. They can send a message on WhatsApp.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that also will be better. We have our president raising his hand. Yes, President Murugesh Shiva.
This is just to bring to everybody's notice. We are kind of short of time for the second session today. So what I am going to do is I'm going to revamp this and say that the floor is open for you to ask questions in terms of any of the sessions that has happened right from the beginning. I think we started on Monday, if I'm right. When did we start?
Yes, on Monday, from Monday till today.
Yeah. So
First to fifth.
I'm keeping the forum open for any of the subjects that that were discussed, and if you have any questions on I'm here. The one guy who can probably touch base on any of the subjects that was taken up all this while, because it's quite a varied background that I have. So I can touch base on anything. So go ahead. We have a Rotarian too. Rotarian Bridget. Or is it Rotract Bridget? It's Rotract Bridget.
Yes,
Okay, great.
British.
Good.
Protractor.
Beautiful, very good. So, any questions? I'm really open to it. Not that you should restrict yourself. You can be pretty open-hearted because it only gives us scope to kind of improve our way of presenting and things like that. So go ahead, please.
If you have any questions on life skills, soft skills, communication, listening skills, anything, the forum is open for you. Where like we had a lot of sessions, which was very important topics for you all. Apart from that, like there are so many other common questions where students have about soft skills, etiquettes, like where you come across every day. Like somewhere you would have felt in writing or reading or communicating, somewhere I'm lagging, or maybe listening skills, somewhere something is missing from me. You can go ahead and ask it. Our president is there, Rotarian Murugesh Shiva, he will be guiding you with it.
In fact, I wanted to run this past 1 hour in communications itself. And I think she listed down everything possible for communication. So the first thing that you need to know about communications is if you are a closed book, and if you don't know to ask, I think you will not get any answer. It's as simple as that. Even in community, the first thing that any newborn is taught is to scream when the pediatric is holding your little feet like that and he gives you a tight slap on your butt. When you squeal, your mother on the other side will have 2 of her heartbeats running twice the speed of a bullet, and she jumps saying, "Why is my child crying?" That's the first piece of communication. So yeah, if you cannot squeal today, you will never be able to squeal again. So wake up. Or was it too heavy a subject, investments, banking, that you do not know what to ask for? Boy, this is a very quiet room. Huh? We have 47 participants in it.
Either they should know everything, they would have listened everything, either they would have not listened anything.
No, I think it's coffee time. They have their mouth full of biscuits and bhaji.
Yeah.
Right.
They're sitting from 4:15.
That explains it. How many of you are bored? Raise of hands. There's that bit where should I answer, should I not? Okay, somebody by name.
Actually, we are not able to find your name. So go ahead and asking whatever or answering what you want to answer.
I think he's answered to the question that I'm bored.
Yes.
It's all right.
Okay, and okay, fine. You can go have your coffee, bhajis or biscuits, whatever you have. Don't forget to log it back at 7:45. We have a very important session on drug abuse and peer pressure. The present pressure, the true pressure every student has.
And this will clearly tell you what you shouldn't be getting into and why you shouldn't be getting into. It's a very eminent speaker and he follows the law to the T. Okay, so just log back in at about 7:45 with the link that Sharon will share and learn a lot about what drug abuse is all about.
The link is shared to everybody, Bonding itself.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
Beautiful.
all the
Good.
links have been shared today to you, Bonding. If at all you don't have link, I'm dropping my number. You can take a screenshot or save my number anytime. You can call me.
Okay,
For-
Harsh has a question.
Any academic questions or anything. Because I will guide you to the speakers who has taken the session past 1 week. You can call me anytime, and if at all you want the link, you can call me today for today's link on drug abuse and peer pressure. It is not from kids, it is not to the adults. At present, the peer pressure has become the biggest pressure everywhere, from younger grade 1 or LKG till the adult. Everybody are finding this pressure. So let us join there and find out how to come out of it in a positive way. Instead of fighting with your friends, how to have them with you as well, change them like you. Let us learn it. I request everybody to join with us and have a very good time and a good learning.
Yeah, okay. So with
President,
that,
anything else?
no, I think we'll close this session because we need to revamp ourselves.
Yes.
For the next one. Okay.
Thank you,
if-
President. Thank you very much.
Imagine me doing that on a 18-hour basis between
Yes.
one meeting.
So this maybe 1 hour or 45 minutes will mean a lot for you. So we'll take
Yeah.
this, we'll utilize this gap to refresh ourselves and be back. Thank you very much, dear students. It was wonderful having a great time with you. Join us back and have a wonderful session. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you.
President.
Bye-bye.
Bye.